So in this video, we're at the 2019 World Championships again in the 66 kilo weight class where we have Italy versus Mozambique, okay? There's a discrepancy in skill here. The Italian player is, I believe, junior world champion. He's one of the top 5 people in the world, just working his way through the world championship bracket. Now, let's play and let's see what we have here. Let's see what the Italian player does. So we're early on in the match, first 30 seconds, plays defense to the drop sail, immediately goes into newaza and starts working. Comes all the way up, pins his player, good hip control, good head control, and I'm sure he holds him here for Ippon to finish out the match, no questions asked. But let's take a look here at the beginning, and let's just kind of get this to a point where we can talk about the speed in which he transitions. Okay, when we're talking about newaza in particular in a competitive setting, your ability to get to that first grip or the first grips you need in order to actually start the technique, right? You can't start a technique with nothing. You need to have a hand, a grip, a wrist, a foot inside. You need something to work with. And let's see how long it takes the Italian player to get there. So let's go forward until he plays defense here to this drop sail. So it's right here. And there we go. Okay, so right here at this point in time, the player from Mozambique, you can see his hands up here on the side, right? They've slipped off the jacket, and now the Italian player Lombardo is now looking to be offensive. So if we fast forward through this right here, boom. It didn't even take Lombardo a second before he set that left hand to the inside, okay? Super fast transition. You have to be on your opponents as soon as possible, okay? You cannot just frivolously look at them and go, oh yeah, this is something I'm supposed to do. Your body needs to instinctually do that. You have to drill that into your system when you're at the club or at your national training center just working out all the time. Right? And now he's working. He's already starting, right? He's getting into position where he's looking to secure that second hand underneath all the way to the other side. It should take him about 2 seconds. There. And now you can see his feet are driving into the ground. What he's doing right here is he's pushing off his feet and he's lifting with this hand, trying to get his hips into the air, driving on top of his shoulder, so that when he's ready to go, he can smash his hip to the ground, shoot his shoulder underneath, and then get his belly to belly in order to effectively hit that roll. But what I see a lot of people do is they leave their hip on the ground and they just try to lift. He does a good job of driving off that ground, pinning his shoulder to the mat to get those hips up into the air so that he can shoot them underneath the ground and then finish the technique. So as we're moving through here, right, we're going to see those hips. There they are. They shoot right the way underneath. And right here, you can tell that White's chest is looking down and Blue's chest is looking up. Okay, so we have White chest looking straight at the floor and we have Blue's chest looking straight up at the ceiling. When you're trying to do this technique, that's where you need to get. Before you try to turn them all the way over, you have to get to this position where the person on bottom looking to pin is looking up the ceiling and the person trying to avoid is still looking down at the floor, because you need to be on top of your training partner once you hit the roll if you plan on keeping it. So as we play through here, right there, we see a good job rolling, right? You can see that hand, look at this hand right here. It's pulling up and tight through the armpit in order to finish the technique, right? He's bridging off of this foot, driving up at the angle in the same place his hand is pulling from. Super impressive just to see right there. Once the opponent puts this foot on the floor and starts trying to drive back into you, that's when the Italian player decides to take that free right hand and come up and grab the head. Okay, he's coming up around the neck to the opposite side in order to continue to drive. So he's starting to pull his knee out so it can't get hooked. He's still driving up and through his partner. His hand has come up and clawed the neck, right? And now we're gonna start moving through here. There, right here. This is where I see a ton of people make a lot of mistakes, okay? You can't push your partner from here, because if you see in this position, blue is not on top of white, not yet. He's next to. So in this position, what you have to see is this leg has to come out and this leg has to come over, and they have to kind of scissor action. We don't leave our left foot, the one that's underneath in this situation, and bring it over. We actually pull it out and turn it over so we can get on top of our partner. So as we look here and we fast forward through this video clip right there, see, he's taking it out and he's switching his hips. See that? He switches his feet. Perfect, beautiful. That's just what we need, because it allows you to suck your partner back in instead of push and allow him to roll out and away from you. So as we're moving through, he also does a good job, right here, of sitting there. I love this position. Super important, okay? Because look, you can't see any part of White's chest. Even though this is an overhead camera and it is at a little bit of an angle, you cannot see White's chest. Therefore, he can't bridge out and away from the technique. Okay, he has his weight on top of him. I see a lot of people try to hold this pin by sitting next to their training partner, and then people tend to backwards somersault and kick their way free of the technique. The way you stop that is you take your hip and you drop it directly on top of their stomach, and you suck this knee out here this way so that they can't trap it. Super impressive that he's able to pull this off, especially at the World Championships. Even though there's a skill discrepancy here, it's nice to see the actual technical side of newaza being applied, where it's got really good sound technique. He's got good solid control. This guy, he's just lost his position. So I'm glad to see that, you know, newaza is really starting to pick up on the IJF tour. You know, we're starting to see a lot of players embrace it and have really good, solid transitions into newaza. They're not just opportunistic, hey, I threw you and landed in the hold down, right? These people are actually playing defense to standing throws. They're transitioning well. They're transitioning fast and with purpose. You're not seeing a lot of these high-level players start a technique and go, that didn't really work for me. Let me run to the other side and then start this technique. That didn't really work for me. Let me run over here. No, these people are dedicated. They know what they're trained to do. Their bodies know what to do. And the second they feel like they have the ability to dive in there because they've played defense, they're doing it. And they're doing it in around 2 seconds or less. So that should give you a benchmark. You know, if you're at the dojo and you're working and you're developing your transition where you're playing defense to a drop seo, how quickly are you getting into your technique to set your grips? This should be kind of like a benchmark of where you should be trying to get to if you're not getting there yet.